welcome back to the Admiralty Training School with Rear Admiral Arnold, Horchio, Dankworth-Gastrell. Glad to see you survived up until now, Brian. So, today we're going to revisit our lessons. So, first of all, we've learned to understand your ship, know exactly what you're doing, what you're sailing, its strengths, its weaknesses. Then we've gone into Cruiser, Destroyer, and Battleship 101, explaining the basics of how to sail. Now, today, this is going to be the most important lesson that you have received up until now. It's a tactical advantage that's been handed down through the Admiralty only to the greatest of sailors, and that is how to ensure you have the greatest possible chance of winning every single battle that you're engaged in. Obviously, you might have to contend with overwhelming force and skill, but if you pay attention to this, then you are sure to succeed. So, as you can see, this sailor, this hive-hound chap, is teamed up with two fellow captains, Jace in the New Orleans and Juju Babylove in her battleship. Now, if you pay attention to the top right-hand corner, he has a tactical map. That's right, there's a map in the top left-hand corner. As you can see, the west of the map, there seems to be three ships. There's a Colorado, a Nuremberg that's already sustained substantial damage, and another ship that we've yet to identify. It was spotted, but is been seen heading over to the west. And we can see there are a multitude of ships to the west and only three friendlies. So, what this hive-hound chap does, somehow he seems to be in the know, has turned his ship and his guns to the opposite flank, which is going to be overrun. Simple as that, really. Pay attention to the map. As you can see, on this flank we have 5 ships, and on the other flank we have 3, and they have 6 ships. 5 ships, and another one making its way in that general direction. So what the hive-hound does is, while their attention is focused on his friendlies to the north of them, on the western end, he is using this opportunity to rain down some fire and not only disrupt their forces, but hopefully pick them off and start clearing them out. He has informed his teammates, who are aware of the situation. They are finishing off the remaining forces on their flank whilst capturing the base, because this game is actually objectively based. You can see we've scored a bit of a lead. We now have A captured. They have the Bravo capture point, and they are currently in the process of trying to capture Charlie. I feel their progress and attempts of capturing Charlie is going to end rather shortly, with this Nuremberg bizarrely making slow maneuvers in open water. Quite lucky there to have survived that. He has a quick double take just to make sure that that their current flank is not suffering any losses, and continues to destroy, or attempt to destroy, the western flank. So he fires some shots off his port side, and kaboom! First kill for him during this match, and in a second enemy ship down, giving his team a 1-ship advantage. Now, they do have the capture advantage, so they're gaining momentum, gaining points at a faster rate. But due to his consistent fire and 52,000 damage caused to that flank, we still barely maintain a marginal lead. That King George doesn't look like it has much time left in this world at all, as he starts to pull back, starts to make manoeuvres, because as you noticed, he's kept himself currently tucked in so he can only engage one ship. If you can only engage one ship, usually only one ship can engage you, giving you the advantage. Unlike his friendlies, who have lost one ship so far, and another has tactically retreated out of the western flank, leaving just the one battleship alone and exposed. So the Highhound takes this opportunity to push forward and start getting some attention. Their flank is secure. He wants to interrupt B, so the points difference remains a difference, and they don't catch up and overtake us. And he notices the Gade is obviously moving in for a final torpedo run on his friendly battleship, and unfortunately is a little bit too late to save him, which leaves him as the main point of contact. He signals to his fellow captains that there is a dastardly little German destroyer over here, and if he could get some assistance, then we may just pull off a win. So, with a lot of their ships being out of sight currently, the Captain Hivehound here pushes forward and focuses his attention on this Normandy, whilst that dastardly destroyer tries to set him on fire. He's interrupted the capture, which now means equal points are being gained every second, whilst maintaining a kill lead of 2. Ooh, that was a bit of a peddling. That Normandy just got spanked thoroughly by the 16-inch shells on the Colorado. And now, as you can see, he's adjusting course, changing his direction, because having a quick look to confirm that Gade is in fact the other side of an island, so that provides him to be a slightly less of an immediate threat. And this is when both the enemy Fuso and I believe it's another King George in the background there, and the Normandy all decide now is a good time to put on their big boy pants and come out and fight, as Mr. Hound is temporarily exposed and without his teammates. So he knew the Gade was there. He's been making regular course adjustments, and as you can see, those incoming torpedoes are absolutely zero threat. He knew that because he was paying attention to the map. So he has got himself into the unfortunate predicament of having 2 fires and no repair kit available, but he's still going to make the most of the firing opportunities that he has before his untimely demise, and assisting greatly in the advance, picking up 2 kills himself, doing over 100,000 damage to the enemy, and that's all with armor piercing. Every single shot, which reduces how much health they can heal. It's a little known fact, but fire damage, and even extensive fire damage, can mostly be healed. He very patiently holds his heel, and when he's set on fire again and has no defense from his fire control party, he hits the repair kit, which means he's constantly healing whilst taking damage, so it sustains him long enough to get a final salvo away, maybe even 2. Unfortunately, there's his demise, but he still managed to score a sterling hit on the King George and advance his team's position. So he assisted in the capture of Alpha, captured Bravo, assisted in the holding of the western flank and give his team enough of a points advantage before passing away. So, and sinking to the bottom of the sea, off to Davy Jones's locker. So, his teammates Jace and Juju in the Scharnhorst, I couldn't remember which battleship it was earlier, have picked up 4 kills between them, giving them a grand total of 6. And as you can see there, Mr. Hound also picked up high caliber and Confederate awards, leaving the enemy team sparse in number and sparse in health. The remainder of his team now have an overwhelming advantage against the New Orleans, the very badly damaged Fuso, and King George. So we're going to follow Jace here, and Jace is very smartly remaining behind the Scharnhorst, who is taking the predominant focus of the fire of the enemy team, whilst raining down some high explosive shells, setting fires and getting that consistent damage up, whilst Juju absolutely spinks them with the high explosive from the Scharnhorst, keeping them at bay. And as you can see, his objective here is to keep them under constant fire. Keeping them under constant fire, constant pressure, will prevent them from regrouping or repairing any health. I'm not entirely sure what that shot was aimed at. That mountain must have looked at him funny. So we're going to switch up to Juju Babe-Love as she presses forth with the final attack, very wisely using the advanced armour on the Scharnhorst to bow tank and reduce incoming damage, waiting for the enemy to fire their shots before swinging round to get a full broadside off against the, there's the Fuso gone, killed by the torpedoes from the Gade, allowing Juju to focus on this New Mexico. Shells coming in from absolutely everywhere. Our Gade has also gone to capture Charlie, who he may or may not get to do. There we go, before the timer ends. Juju Babe-Love falls to some significant fire damage, but we're leading by 4 ships to 9 on the kill count, and the battle is over. So pay attention to the minimap, communicate with your team, and that will result in some high scoring 1, 2, 3 and 6 out of the 9 potential kills from Mr. Hound's platoon. So pay attention to the minimap and you will succeed. Until next time, toodle pip.